Heyo, Omni Dogs and Omni Kittens. It's Omni Dog here with something I haven't done in a while, and that is a big haul. I haven't hauled in a while because my wife watches the show now. So, but she knows about almost all of this. So, what the heck? Let's see what happens. We'll show her the haul and we'll see how much trouble I get in. First of all, my friend from A Week in Geekdom, Giovanni, helped me solve kind of a puzzle. I've fallen behind in Rebirth, and so I tried to read some current stuff like Justice League Dark, and I was totally lost. And he said, "You've got to read Metal." But before I read Metal, I got to catch up with my Rebirth. So I'm going to read that. I'm going to start reading Rebirth again. I'm way behind in Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, all of it. I'm way behind in it. And then I'm going to read Metal. So what I've got so I can catch up to what's coming out currently because Justice League Dark and some of the Wonder Woman crossover stuff and I was just like, what is this? So I got Dark Knight's Metal Resistance. I got Dark Knight's Metal the Deluxe. Dark Days, The Road to Metal, and Dark Knights Metal Dark Knights Rising. And they were out of it on IST, Justice League No Justice. So instead of ordering it from Amazon, I just downloaded it digitally, which is not like me. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. I don't know. I'm old. I'm unpredictable. I don't know. I don't know why I did it. Um, so let's see. I got a bunch of other stuff here. Let's see. I've liked what I've read recently. Where is that book that I did? Well, we'll come across it here in a little bit. I got. It's called Cover by Brian Michael Bendis. I love his Jinx World stuff. Um, this looks really good. It's about a spy that is sort of about a comic book artist, and I don't know. It sounded interesting to me, and the artwork looks really cool. So I was up for it. His I love his crime. I dig his crime a lot. This one's called Matador. It's by Devin Grayson, Brian Stelfreeze. Dismissed as a quota hire by her work peers, Cuban born and Florida bred detective Isabel Cardona makes no friends on the Miami force by insisting that a series of seemingly unrelated murder cases lead to an urban legend contract killer known only as the Matador. Proving his existence soon becomes equal parts self preservation and obsession, but how close to the dangerous Matador will Cardona have to get to make that happen? So this sounded good to me too. This is from Image. I like this. This book sounds cool too. Middle West. It's written by Scotty Young with art by Jorge Corona. My Corona. Let's see. Predictable, normal, boring. Most days in Farmington are like any day in any small town. Blubbly bubbly blah. One fateful day, however, ideas of normalcy, safety, and security are turned to shreds and blown away as a storm levels Farmington just as quickly as it appears. What's more, the storm is chasing this kid and it knows his name. Okay, a storm that knows your name, I'm in. This is just volume one, so there must be stuff going on in it that leads to volume two also. So this is Scotty Young written. And it sounds good. And of course, everybody's favorite Saga Volume 3. It's going on hiatus. So I'm going to have to read Volume 2 and get caught up with it. I've read Volume 1 probably 14 times, but I'm going to have to. What a great picture this is. I'm going to have to read Volume 2 and get caught up with it and then read Volume 3. So I'm looking forward to that. My boy Mark Waid with his Flash Volume 6. It's great. Even though Barry Allen's my Flash, Wally West is still a cool Flash. And this is Southern Cross by Becky Cloonan, who is an excellent writer. And let's see, now boarding Southern Cross Tanker Flight 73 to Titan. Alex Braith is on board, retracing her sister's steps to the refinery moon, hoping to collect her remains and find some answers. The questions keep coming, though. How did her sister die? I like the sound of this already. Artwork looks good. Becky Cloonan's a great writer. So 2 volumes of this. I hope it's wrapped up. But I don't know. It might be more. I've just got 2 volumes of it. It could be more than that. I don't know. I'm going to read them and find out. Rick Remender, Death or Glory. Omar, my friend the Uncanny Omar, has recommended this to me. Anything Rick Remender, I'm in for. So I'm up for this a lot. I don't know what it's about. Let's see. Meet Glory, raised off the grid in a convoy of truckers, the last men and women fighting for true freedom on the American open road. Now, in order to pay for her beloved father's life-saving surgery, Glory has 3 days to pull off 4 dangerous cross-country heists with mob killers, crooked cops, and a psycho ex-husband all out to bring her in or die trying. Okay, cool. Death or Glory? I think it sounds boss, man. Oh, here's the book that I read, and I'm going to review. I reviewed it for Omnibros. I'm going to, after I read some books this weekend, I'm going to review this because it's really good. It's called Pearl by Brian Michael Bendis, part of his part of his Jinx World series. It's about an albino Asian woman who's a tattoo artist and discovers she has a hidden talent as an assassin for the Yakuza in San Francisco. And it is really good. I really like this book. I don't know how I ended up out of all this haul stuff reading one book and this was it, but it was great. I dug it. Let me set all this down. Okay, then we got some big books. Absolute Black Mirror. I went on Goodreads just to see what some people thought of it. I read it a long time ago, so I just thought I'd see what people thought of it. And some guy said he thought the art was average. It's by Jock and Francavilla, and this guy says the art is average. I'm like, dude, you should have your comic book card taken away from you. You shouldn't be allowed to read comic books anymore. That's the dumbest thing. I did an overview on this book, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4. I'm going to upload it after I upload this video. Needless to say, this is an extremely important Bronze Age book. Is it the Bronze Age? 1973? I'm going to say yes. Book I've been waiting for so long it feels like 3 years. Black Magic, the first book of Shadows. Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott. Woofa. Magic Team. Black Magic Team. Very excited for it. And the third volume of Wayward came out. I read the first two, gosh, it feels like January of last year now. And so I'm going to have to reread them and then read this. But I really like this book a lot. So I'm glad to get the third volume of it. And I'm still hanging in there with Astro City. Astro City Aftermaths. I need to catch up because I'm about 5 books behind. But I am ready to catch up and read it. And I'm probably one of about 5 people that bought this book, but that's okay. I need to do an overview of this book, The Silver Age, World's Finest. This is where it gets goofy. This will be a fun overview. Extreme goofiness. So, I have some more haul stuff. This was a Kickstarter that I did a year ago, and I have no idea what it's about. It finally came to the house a couple weeks ago. I couldn't even tell you what it's about now. It sounded good at the time, though. Atlantis wasn't built for tourists. Um, I, I don't know. I'm gonna have to read this soon because it sounded great. I don't even remember what I paid for it. There's no description. I have no idea what it's about. This one took a while to come out, but I'm excited to read it. Should be good. My friend Faria reviewed this, said it was great. The Old Guard by the fabulous Greg Rucka. I'm up for this. It's a story about time and age and ages. It's about friendship and love and regret. It's a story of 2 women and 3 men who cannot die. Whoa, okay. The Old Guard. I have a feeling I'm going to be reviewing this soon because it sounds really good to me. Lake of Fire. The Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition recommended this to me. He raved about this book. I feel like I'm going to be reading this real soon and reviewing it. He really raved about it. Said the story was just brilliant. So I'm really excited about it. Recently, I did a video on starting your collected editions, collecting your collected editions with DC, and I realized there are 2 books I didn't have. I knew about them. I thought I had them. I know I had them at one point, but I couldn't find them for some reason. It's the craziest thing. 2 of the best Superman books you're ever going to want, and I have no idea. The Superman collected editions department is not that big. I've got just about everything, but I didn't have these 2 books, so I ordered them and got them. And that is Secret Identity by Kurt Busiek. Great, great book. The deluxe edition, and Superman Secret Origin by Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. 2 great Superman books that I included in the video, even though I didn't own the books. Here's Blackbird. It's a book about magic in Los Angeles. In the Hispanic community, apparently, there's a magical world hiding in Los Angeles, and Nina Rodriguez knows it. When an enormous otherworldly beast kidnaps her sister, Nina must confront her past and her demons, not to mention the ruthless cabals in charge of the city's magic. Cool. I'm amped up for this. Now, here's something I'm way behind on that I need to catch up on, and that is Jane Foster Thor. I need to catch up on this book. This is a pretty big, thick volume 3. I need to catch up on this. I need to do some serious reading. Now that they've come out with a book that apparently is wrapping everything up, a big event, I need to get going on it. And volume 8, Usagi Yojimba Saga. So I need to catch up on this. I need to do a big read through of this. And speaking of big read throughs, this is going to be the biggest read through of read throughs. Valiant Imperium Deluxe Edition. I started a read through of this in 2017, read about 6 books, and I haven't gone back to it since. And of course, I've forgotten everything I've read in those, so I'm going to have to go back and reread those. But I am going to read those Valiant books. What I read, I really liked, and I really want to read those Valiant books. Totally. So I am going to do that. I am going to. Superman Rebirth Volume 4 Deluxe Edition. I'm sad that these are going back to standard size because these Rebirth Deluxes were awesomely sized. They were great. I loved them. Today's June 6th, 2019. And this is a book, that's D-Day. This is the 75th anniversary. Hard to believe. 6 Days, The Incredible Story of D-Day's Lost Chapter. From DC. So this is a book that I probably should have read today. Based on a true story. Pretty remarkable. And here's James Tinian IV's The Woods Yearbook Edition. So I'm going to be collecting all of these. I read this in floppy form and enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to catching up, rereading, and getting to know this book again in the collected edition form. A high school and all its inhabitants gets transported to a planet light years away, and they got to figure out what to do and how to survive. And it gets pretty Lords of the Fly-ish quickly. So that's my haul, and then I have what's known as the Kyle Pile. I got a friend named Kyle who is also friends with Omar, and he is a kind and generous guy. And he enjoys Omnibros and my channel and enjoys our reviews and has just been sending me books out of the kindness of his heart, saying all I ask is that you read and review them. And I say thank you. I appreciate that. I've been known to send out things to people, so I know what it's like. He's doing a kind of pay it forward thing, and I appreciate that. So over the past few weeks, I've got a big pile of Kyle books that have come in. I've read a bunch of them and reviewed a bunch of them, but recently a bunch have come in that I haven't had a chance to read yet. So we'll go over those real quick that I've gotten from Kyle. One's called The Warning, Edward LaRoche. Check out the pretty cool artwork in that. Here's a book, and a lot of these are books I've never even heard of. There's only a couple in here I've heard of. This one's called Orphans Volume One. This has got a little bit of a manga-ish feel to it, which is fine. This is the Plume Omnibus. Never heard of this book, which is great. I love getting surprised with books that he thinks are great that I have no clue about. Because he sent me some really high quality reads. that I've been really excited to read. There's a book called Infinite Dark, Volume 1. And of course, I love Cy Spurrier. Here's a Cy Spurrier book I didn't even know about, Motherlands. So I'm pretty psyched on that. Whoop. Guess I shouldn't have shown you that. I didn't know that was in there. Oh well. No worries. Here's a book, Hap Haven by Norm Harper. Oh, and this is something, step on a crack, break your mother's back. So something bad happens in this book in the form of superstition. Interesting. Blah blah blah. The jinx. Alex must also contend with a forest full of trees that knock back if you don't knock on wood. People named Penny who do not like to be picked up, and a particularly vindictive black cat who will not be crossed. Sounds pretty cool. Ab irato. Ab irato is Latin from anger. Ooh, look at this art. Beautiful. In a dystopian world, sold. In a dystopian world of mounting sea levels and growing economic inequality, those who can afford it have access to a rejuvenating vaccine that can allow lifespans of hundreds of years. A vaccine controlled by what has become the wealthiest biopharmaceutical company in the world, the Juvo Corporation. Well, that sounds cool. I like the sound of this a lot. This book's from Dynamite called Devolution. Oh, by Rick Remender. Never even heard of it. How'd this get by me? Outer Darkness. John Layman. I believe he's the writer for Chew. Is he? Yep. Artist for writer for Chew. Here's a book by Garth Ennis. 303. The Ultimate Soldier Meets His Destiny. Well, Garth Ennis is well known for writing a great war and soldiers' tales. So I'm up for that. These are all books from the Kyle Pile. Nice gifts from a good guy. Here is a book from the guy who wrote Copperhead, J. Farber. And I loved Copperhead. This is called Elsewhere. 2 volumes of Elsewhere. This is cool. I got a lot to read. Got a lot to review. And Gemini, the complete series. This is by Jay Farber. Here's a couple books by Garth Ennis. Red Team and Red Team Double Tap Center Mass. We were Red Team. We couldn't stand people escaping justice, so we killed them. Nice. This is my kind of book. Oh, wow. I like it already. I might read that this weekend for sure. I really like the sound of that. And we're getting down to the last few books. Waste Tide. It's a very Oh, this is a real book. Well, I didn't know that. I haven't read a real book in so long. A prose book. How about that? I've been reviewing comic books for so long, I haven't read a prose book in forever. I love them, though. Shipwrecked by Warren Ellis. I can't believe there's a Warren Ellis book I didn't know about. That's remarkable. Sole survivor of a very unusual and very secret shipwreck. I gotta read this right away. A Warren Ellis book I didn't know about? Huh. Black Road, The Holy North. This looks like it's like the complete book of the Black Road. The Christian conversion of pagan lands is well underway, turning the Vikings north into a war zone. Nice. This is really cool. This is the Brian Wood book? Yeah. And lastly, a book I had heard of but I do not own, Caliban by Garth Ennis. And what is it about? The interstellar mining vehicle Caliban cruises through warp space, her crew enduring grim and sterile life in the artificial environment within her hull. Countless billions of miles from home, they search for mineral resources that will feed the industries of an exhausted Earth. They know the rules. If anything goes wrong, no one is coming to help them. They are on their own. Ooh, that's kind of gross. Huh. This sounds cool. And that's the end of the Kyle pile. Thank you, Kyle, buddy. I appreciate that. That is cool. And that is the end of my haul. And this was a long haul. I hauled heavily here. So thank you for tuning in. I'd appreciate it if you give me a like. Feel free to leave a comment. Subscribe if you like. And as always, thank you for watching. Peace and love. Peace and love.